Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. I've decided to share some tips that I normally use to help me when I go grocery shopping, to make sure that I don't spend as much as I normally or would normally have, and that I don't buy things that I don't need. Now, it's quite a number of tips. I suppose by the end I'll know how many exactly, but I'm just going to give them one by one. So let's go. So the first tip I want to give you is that you need to have a list. Please don't go grocery shopping without a list, because then that's how everything that you didn't intend to buy ends up in your trolley. So the list is going to help you to stay focused. It's going to help you to remember what it is that you are there at the shop to buy, and it's going to help you to save time. If that's attractive to you, then the list is very important. So next in line is, if you're going to the shop and you're not doing a big grocery shopping, don't take a trolley. Okay, so if you've decided now it's the middle of the month and you're going to just top up a few things that are not finished or whatever the case may be, and you don't really need a trolley, take a basket. So I know that it is a little bit difficult to hold a basket. It does start to become heavier, but if you only need a basket or one of the smaller trolleys, then take that. Because if you take the big trolley, trust me, you're going to end up filling it. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it happens. So don't do it. If you're only going for a small shop, take a trolley, a small trolley, or one of the little baskets, whatever is going to work for you. So when you're going for your main food shopping trip, start with the healthy, essential things. Healthy, essential, essential, healthy, interchangeable. Start with the important things and the things that are healthy and the things that you need the most. Because the trick is, if you are going to start in the aisles with an empty trolley, then you're going to fill the trolley with the things that you don't need, or the things that are not necessarily critical to your shopping. So, for example, I don't know if you realize that with the shops, when you go into the door, you always start by the veggies, and then they sort of take you around. Okay, so you start by the veggies, and then you've got the bread, and then you've got the meat and the milk, and then you've got the aisles, right? So that is, if you actually go by the map of the shop, would be the perfect way to do your shopping, because that's where the essentials and the healthy things are. Your veggies, your bread if you need, the milk, meat, and then you've got the aisles where the processed stuff, the little bottled stuff, the things that are supposed to attract you and keep you longer in the shops are. So do that first. Do the essential healthy run first, and then make sure that you've got everything that you need there. So by the time you get to the aisles, there's probably less space in your trolley for you to fill it up with all the stuff you didn't come to the shop for. Okay, so if you're buying fruit and veggies, try and avoid the pre-cut stuff. So you get to the fruit and veggie side, and you've got these little pre-cut ones that are already in little bags and little containers. And I think maybe the allure of it might be that I don't have to do anything to this. I can just take it and use it as it is. I sort of can see how that would work, but you must remember that in order for it to be pre-cut and pre-packaged, it means someone else has done the work. So you're actually going to be paying for that work having been done. So that's why that stuff is normally much more expensive than, like a standard pineapple. So if you're going into a shop and you're buying a pineapple, you'll normally find a pineapple will range between 15 and 25 rands, a whole one. But the minute they've cut it for you and sliced it nicely and pre-packaged it, you are going to be paying for all that work that's being done. So you're not going to be paying 25 rand, and you're not going to be getting a whole pineapple. So you get what I mean. Try and avoid the pre-cut stuff. Yes, it will take a little bit of your time to prepare your vegetables or your fruits, but I think if you can, do that, because quantities you decide yourself, and how much of it you use you decide yourself. The other downside about the pre-cut stuff is they have a shorter lifespan. Remember, it's already cut, so you need to be willing to use it almost immediately, because you can't keep it for longer, as opposed to one that is still whole that would probably last a few more days before you get the time to cut it up. So maybe if you can, avoid the pre-cut stuff. Also, talking about fruit and veggies, if you can, buy the seasonal stuff. So buying seasonal helps you to be able to get the best of the fruit or the veg, because it's in their season and you've got a lot of them that are perfectly ripened at the right time, and they're in the shop at the right time, and they tend to last longer. So in season fruit tend to last longer, for obvious reasons. And if you're buying seasonal, it means that you will actually be paying less for them. So if you're buying out of season or something that has been imported, obviously you're going to be paying more for that. So if you're buying within season, you're going to be saving as well. So the other tip is use the produce scale. So you know how attractive it is when you see those combo deals, right? It's like 3 kilograms for potatoes and tomatoes and this and that, and then you pay this much for it. It does actually look attractive most of the time, but are you going to be able to use 3 kilograms of butternut? Because if you're not, then it's going to sit and it's going to go off, then you're going to have to throw it away. So what you need to do is start thinking about using your produce scale to take only what you need, that you don't take more than what you need, that you don't end up throwing food away, which is also a waste. No one wants to do that. And that you don't get trapped in the combo deals. The other thing I would suggest that you do is you look into or invest in a storage system for your fruit and veg at home, because remember, when you're taking them from the shop and you are intending to have them at the house for longer, you're not using them all immediately. If you have a proper storage system for your fruit and veggies, then you can actually take advantage of those combo deals if they're so attractive to you. Take advantage of that, and then when you get home, you're able to store them properly to make sure that they don't go off and that you don't necessarily have to then throw them out. Also, remember, if you're buying fruit or vegetables from a deli or a retailer or whatever it is that you're buying from, and you get home and you find that the fruit or the veggie or one of them inside is actually gone off, has been spoiled, you can return the packet as it is. Because remember, when you are buying it under the guise that everything that is in that bag you will be able to use all at the same time. Now, if you get home and you open the plastic or whatever it is in, and you find that there's a rotten tomato in there, you are well within your right to return that produce. You know, I know that sometimes, for example, like us, I live far away from where I buy my food and stuff like that, so it really doesn't make sense to go back to the shop to return a whole packet because of one tomato. But if it is worth the while for you, and if you can get the value, by all means, remember to do that, because the shop will always return it for you. So if you can, buy frozen veggies or fruits. So frozen veggies tend to be cheaper and they last longer. But this is only if you are going to be using them. Because remember, each of us have a different way of making food, and sometimes maybe frozen veggies don't feature anywhere on your meal plan, or the planning of your meals or your menus. But if you can buy frozen, they tend to be much cheaper. You can get them at a higher quantity, and they will keep for much longer, because now you don't have to worry about keeping them fresh. You just put them in the freezer, leave them there to be until you're able to use them again. Okay, so talking about meat is actually quite a touchy subject, because if you want to lower your grocery bill, you can actually impact it a lot by buying a lot less meat. because let's face it, meat is expensive. Even the cuts that we say are cheaper, it would actually still be cheaper to just eat veggies and just supplement your meat with, I don't know, egg and fish. Fish is not really cheaper either, but just supplement with other proteins. But if you have to have the meat, make sure that you don't go for, bone out, skinned, washed, individual wrapped, because that automatically means it's going to be more expensive for you. So if you're going for, I don't know, chicken breasts, for example, you'll find that the chicken breast with the bone in and the skin on will be cheaper for you per kilo than the chicken breast that's already been processed with the bone taken out and the skin taken off. So if you're going to go for the meat, make sure that you stick to what you need only, and the cuts that are, good for you and for what you intend to use them for, and make sure that you buy them before all the processing has happened. So the next tip I want to give you is, if you're going shopping, don't go shopping hungry. If you're planning a trip to go shopping for your groceries, whether you're going alone or you're taking your kids with you or wherever it is you're taking, just make sure that you've eaten something. Because remember, if you're hungry, it really does change the way you look at things. And then by the time you walked away from the bakery aisle, you've bought 6 croissants, you've bought a whole lot of cinnamon buns, things that you didn't intend to buy because you were hungry, and now you want to justify that, I can eat this quickly after that. And it really doesn't work out well. So just make sure that before you go on a big shopping trip, that you've had something to eat and that you're not hungry, so that you are not coerced to buy things you didn't want to. The next tip is, avoid the aisles you don't need anything from. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So now you're walking through the shop and you've gotten most of the stuff that you need, and now suddenly you're walking down random aisles, not even looking at your list. That's wrong, because that's the trap. Normally, if you walk through the aisle, you're going to see something you want, something you think you want, something you think you need, something that's about to finish, and you're going to take it. Don't do it. If you don't need something in the aisle, don't walk through that aisle. When you are in the aisles and you're buying something, so let's say, for example, you're looking for soy sauce, right? And you are in the sauces aisle and you are facing it. Normally, I'm a little short, so normally where I look is normally the middle of the aisle, it's the eye level, and unfortunately that's where you find the most expensive type of whatever product has been packed on there. So if you're looking for the soy sauce and you are looking eye level, you're normally or probably looking at the most expensive eye level and up. So this is something that I've tested in a lot of shops, and it rings true for every single time. Although it's easier for me to do, again, because I'm shorter, what you need to try and do is you need to look down on the aisle to make sure that you can get alternatives of the product that you are looking for that are normally cheaper. Yes, those are the alternatives that are from brands that you don't know normally, new comers to, I suppose, the industry, that type of thing. And those are the brands that are not really popular that you'll find there at the bottom. But most products you can actually interchange by any brand, unless of course you've got a preference, in which case go ahead, take the most expensive one, which will probably be either at eye level or right at the top of the aisle. But if you want an alternative that is going to be cheaper for you, just make sure that you look a bit lower down to where everything else is. Talking about preferences and brands, loyalty to brands might be a bit of a trap. So there's a lot of products that I've gone through and that I've tested and tasted and let friends and family taste that are exactly the same, whether they are in a specialized brand or in a store name or no name brand. So I suppose it depends on what shop you go to, but a lot of the shops that I buy my food from, I'm able to buy a lot of the processed store brand products without worrying that I am giving up the quality or not getting my value for money. So maybe that is something that you can try. It can help you because if you're not paying that much higher for those special brands and you're still getting the product that you like, that's going to help you to save a little bit on your grocery. So when you're going grocery shopping, it is not a race. Don't try and fill the trolley. Remember, the focus is to get everything that is on your list and then get out the shop. So even if your trolley is not very full, you've still got a little hole in the corner and it could be filled, it doesn't matter. If your list, if everything on your list has been bought, then you're ready to go. That's the time for you to be heading to the tills. On the way to the tills, please resist the little stands on the side. So the reason they've got the most delicious stuff on the stands on the side of the tills is because it's to trap you while you're standing in line waiting to be serviced at the till. So just resist it. If you don't need it, look away, look ahead, and wait until it is your turn to be served at the till. And lastly, spend wisely and make sure that you get value for your money. When you go into the shop with a list, that is the objective, to get everything that is on the list and then to get out of the shop. That is going to help you to keep to your budget and to make sure that you don't unnecessarily increase your food budget. I mean, we can all do with a little bit of savings here and there, but you have to start with yourself and being more focused on how you actually conduct your shopping trips, and you make sure that you get value for money, buy only what you need, don't take things that you're not going to be able to use, and don't fall into the bulking trap. So just because it's bulk and it's cheaper, if you're not going to use it, then you are wasting, really, honestly, and we don't want that. So those are the tips that I wanted to share with you. I would love to see and hear some of the tips that you use to help you to make sure that you don't go overboard with your grocery budget. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to be shooting a video where I am going to be giving you other tips and other tricks of how to actually save on the groceries that you actually buy. So there are a lot of options, and I know a lot of us have a lot of other things that we do. So I'm going to be sharing mine on my next video. But for this video, that's it for me. And thank you very much for watching, and bye.